And we are going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is going on? My name is Ben. Welcome to another episode of my daily blog where I strive to inspire you to achieve your goals and therefore your dreams. How are you guys doing? Sunday night, and I hope you're having an excellent weekend today. There's a few things I want to talk about, and the first one is I want to say rest in peace to William Esper, better known as Bill. Bill was one of my acting teachers in New York City back in 2012. I did a very nice, amazing acting class. I think it was a 6 weeks long acting class in New York City with Susan Esper at the William Esper Studio. Suzanne was Bill's wife, and unfortunately, last night Bill passed away. So I am sad about that, unfortunately. And I met him. He was a very nice man, very smart. He taught acting to thousands and thousands and thousands of students throughout his life, and he wrote a very nice book about acting. Don't remember the title right now, but it's one of the most read acting books in the world. And yeah, so very sad. I met him. He came to one of our classes and taught that class, and so it was such an amazing experience to have this legend teaching us. And he taught many Hollywood movie stars. Again, I don't have the the list or anything, but he was very well known around Hollywood, especially in New York City. And great man. So rest in peace, Bill. Very unfortunate. So moving on, I am going to tell you something I wrote yesterday, and I wrote two things. So the first thing I wrote is life is not about having, but about doing. And what I mean by that is, like, sometimes we have so many things, possessions. I mean, we don't have to be millionaires, but sometimes we have so many things, and it's not about the things we have, but about the things we do with them. And sometimes having too many things is not great, because then you don't have time to do all the things you could do with those things. So just a thought, not necessarily an advice, but something I was thinking about yesterday, about things I have. And I'm not saying, oh, I have so many things, but sometimes I do have a foosball table in the basement, and I used it probably 3 times, and I wish I can use it more often, and I just don't make the time myself to use it. And stuff like that sometimes it's better to focus on the things you have instead of looking for new things, because after years and years you keep accumulating things, and you use them very little. So anyway, let me know what you think about that, if you run into that problem, and how you fix it in your life. The other thing I wrote yesterday is a quote, a personal quote, which is: content is king, consistency is queen. So anyway, we all know, we heard this before, content is king. And I was watching a talk last night with Gary Vaynerchuk. Actually, over the years, I learned how to spell his last name, because it's not an easy last name, and I'm actually taking advice from what he's doing with his last name, but I'll tell you that in a minute. But Vaynerchuk is Vaynerchuk. It's like Chuck, but without the C, and that's how I always remember Vaynerchuk. And Chuck like Chuck Norris, but without the C. So one of the things I'm kind of borrowing is I am. He started to rebrand himself as Gary B, because a lot of people had trouble remembering how to spell Vaynerchuk and how to pronounce Vaynerchuk. Not my case, because he's one of my mentors and I read a lot of all his content. But it's true, it's a lot easier to remember Gary Vay. So that's why one of the reasons why I'm also calling myself Benny T. So just Benny, and T instead of Tolosa, which some people spell it with a U, some people spell them with two U's, and with an O at the end. So it's a mess. So yeah, I've been using Benny T here and there, and see if people can remember that better. So what I meant by content is king and consistency is queen is that the most important thing on your content is the quality of your content, of course, but consistency is what really is gonna bring your content to shine, unless you're like this really amazing exception with this amazing talent. But for most people, most of us, that we don't have this amazing talent, we also need consistency. And if we talk about sports, the sport I know is soccer, and same thing happens in soccer. Sometimes they are fantastic soccer players. They have 1 or 2 years where they were brilliant. Everybody knew about them. They won so many things, and then they disappear because they got fat, or I don't know, for whatever reason. They don't keep themselves consistent. And other athletes like Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi, they are amazing, but every year they keep consistent. They keep consistent. And that is something I'm trying to do with my content. So now I'm trying. So let's see how long I last. But my goal is to keep going with this for many, many years. We'll see. At any case, it doesn't matter what I do. What I suggest you to do is get inspiration for those kind of people like Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, all the actors or actresses that you've been seeing since the 70s. Pacino, for example, he's been acting since the 70s, and he keeps working, and he's an amazing actor, but he has consistent. So now I'm gonna go to my book, read you a segment on my book, and now we are starting on chapter 4, Masterplan Your Success, and this is what I wrote at the beginning of chapter 4. There is a longer introduction. Is about 2 pages. I'm not gonna read you 2 pages. I'm just gonna read you the beginning. Then I'm gonna read you another segment, and we're gonna end with a quote, with a personal quote. So the title of chapter 4 is Plan Your Goals with Deadlines. And the quote I begin is, a goal without a plan is just a wish. And this Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, whatever you pronounce that. Anyway, it's a she, I believe, but this is a famous quote. So about having goals. So the first paragraph on this chapter, that's all I'm gonna read you for now, reads, deadlines are more important than dreams. Without deadlines, you have no dreams. Habits are imperative to plow through deadlines. We'll learn more about habits in chapter 5. Without dreams, you still have deadlines, like for instance, your own life. Okay, so now I'm gonna read you another segment. So I'm gonna read you a segment about graduation. And the segment is called Graduation. And the quote I begin with is, transform your dreams into projects so you can work on them. That's a personal quote. So now this is what I wrote in this segment. Why does a school work? I am not saying that the school system works, which is debatable, but why do people actually graduate? Because it is a system with deadlines, schedules, and more deadlines. My wife works at a 2-year business school, and during a period of time while the new students arrive, they hang a big banner across the columns in the main entrance that reads, "Welcome class of 20XX." Those two X's are always replaced with a date 2 years in the future. For example, the students beginning in 2017 will encounter a big banner reading, "Welcome class of 2019." And this way, they know precisely when they will achieve their goals. There is no time or excuse to procrastinate, as they pay huge bucks to be there and conquer their master's degree. Okay, so that's kind of a good way to get inspired with setting up deadlines for your goals and dreams. So now I'm gonna go to the back of the book where I have a collection of my personal quotes, and the one that I have for you today reads, "Ideas are just gassy thoughts until execution materializes them." That's a personal quote. So let me know what you think, if you agree, and if you have any comments. And that is all that I have for you tonight, Sunday night. I hope you have an excellent beginning of the week. I hope you had a great weekend. We had some snow here today, a little bit of snow late afternoon. And I was going to do some snowboarding, and our garage door didn't open. So it has like a rubber stopper at the bottom of it, stopping it actually from lifting. So I just didn't have time to get there in time, because I was going to go for the last 2 hours. They have a deal for $20 if you go only to ride the last 2 hours. So I spent, I don't know, probably about 20 minutes. I had to get a saw, and anyway, I couldn't go snowboarding today, but I hope to go next week. Again, other than that, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. If you want notifications, hit that bell. And if you have any comments, please leave them in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them as soon as possible, typically the next day. And again, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to press that button, and I am going offline. And see you tomorrow night. Good night.